Welcome to the Gen Z Marketer Podcast, where we have marketing conversations and everything in between. In this episode, I invited a small business owner who is doing so well in TikTok. She owns a slime business, and her videos on running her business is engaging and exciting. And we'll talk about how TikTok helped her business grow. Let's welcome our guest for today, Anika Aquino of Everything Kawaii PH. So, hi Anika, why don't you tell us a bit more about yourself?
Yes, of course. I'm 20 years old and I'm currently a second year college student in Ateneo de Manila University. And I'm also the owner of a small business called Everything Kawaii PH.
Oh, that's fun. We're neighbors pala technically, no? Because I studied in Mary.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
yeah, and actually, we're only 5 years apart because I'm 25. So, I'm not that old. Baka isipin ng mga tao I'm old. But yeah, I'm not that old. So, of course, yeah, you've had your small business. How long have you been running your business pala?
So I created Everything Kawaii back in 2016, and it actually started from selling some pieces of my squishy collection. So squishies are like extremely soft versions of a stress ball, but it's cuter. So this is why I decided to call the business Everything Kawaii because I literally wanted to sell anything and everything cute in the shop. But through browsing in Instagram, I actually discovered slime, and I decided that I want to make that since in the slime videos they would stretch, poke, and squeeze the slime, which gave the slime really interesting and addicting sounds. So it was really soothing and such a stress reliever for me to watch, and I wanted to experience it in real life since it was super new for me. So I decided that I want to convert into a slime shop, and I actually relaunched the business in the May of 2020, which is the start of the pandemic, and here we are today.
That's interesting that I didn't know that you started pala not in the slime business. And I like how you said that slime is interesting because although personally I haven't really played much with slime, I do acknowledge the growth of it through the years. I'm not sure if you saw this video from Insider Ba or somewhere that basically there was this teen also in the US who started a slime business. And like you, she said that she just like creating slime because of the sounds it made, because of the popularity of ASMR, right? I think I remember
Yes.
her saying that the reason why slime is doing so well is because people want to hear all of those different sounds, those poking sounds, because it was just so relaxing.
Yeah, exactly. And the concept of slime was actually really simple since it's just glue and a household product, which is borax, and it basically makes a new product, which was really amazing for me. It's kind of like science, and at the same time, it was really satisfying.
Right? Yeah, that's true. Because, you know, you're creating everything from like start to end, right? Do you have help with other people in like running your business, or is it mostly you?
Definitely. I have my twin sister who actually helps me run the business. However, she's in charge of the packaging and shipping processing while I'm in charge in creating the products. So it's mostly me in terms of designing and conceptualizing what slimes I'm going to make next. But in terms of logistics, it would be my twin sister.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice that at least you have some help. And of course that you're really on hands-on on designing your products. So how do you stay inspired in designing, the slime? Like what's the process like for you when you're creating your slime?
So when it comes to staying inspired, honestly, I am such a foodie. So I love everything to do with food and most especially sweets. So if you can notice, most of my products in my slime shop are inspired from sweets and desserts that I absolutely love. So my sweet tooth is definitely the main inspiration for designing my products. And when it comes to designing and conceptualizing, I actually think of slime every time of every day. Sometimes I would just be about to sleep and I suddenly get an idea for slime and I think, oh my gosh, I need to make this. So I just jump out of bed and grab my phone or even a piece of paper to just write that idea down. So I get random ideas or outbursts of slime ideas that I want to create. And it's amazing how something as simple as slime is actually such a creative process since I constantly need to think how I can transform my ideas into the slime.
Right. Yeah, that sounds really fun and exciting. I mean, I feel like it's such an interesting to do because of course you said like that science part of you creating it, and at the same time there's also that creativity of you designing and conceptualizing your products, right? So I'm curious pala, how long does it take for you to, like, let's say, create a new product or a new slime? What's that process like when you're creating it?
So in creating this slime, after I brainstorm the idea, which usually just takes about a few minutes, and when I actually get into making the actual slime, it actually takes me a whole day since I would need to think about the texture or how it will do during shipping, if it's going to change or if there's going to be any other changes that I need to make since it would be too uncomfortable for the client when they play with the slime or the slime idea is just not it, like it's not how I envisioned it to be. So it usually takes me a whole day to just think about one new slime.
Right. It's really a process. I like that. It's really, really interesting. You know what? I mean, after this, I'd probably try playing around slime. I know what it's like I've seen it and I've seen really several videos on TikTok. But, just hearing about it and just seeing it, I feel like at some point I should play with it. Yeah.
Definitely.
But yeah, if you were to summarize basically like, of course this is your brand that basically you transitioned eventually into a slime business. So what if you were to summarize the essence of your brand, what would you say?
I'd like to say that Everything Kawaii is a business that brings joy to people of all ages and provides handcrafted products made with love.
That's cute. I wait, you mentioned all ages. I'm curious though, are your customers mostly like the Gen Z or the younger side, or do you also get like adults or older people who still love to play with slime?
Well, earlier in starting my slime business, it just used to be the Gen Z or even younger kids. But ever since I introduced my slime business on TikTok, majority of my clients are all adults now, which is really crazy.
Wow, that's interesting, huh? Because I think actually, yeah, now that we're talking about like we're slowly transitioning to the part about we talk about TikTok and how it really helped you. Just to share with you, I actually discovered your business through TikTok. It was through my FYP page, and I was just, like, typical TikTok, you're just scrolling around. And then I found your page, and then I was like, wow, this is so interesting. And I think when I saw your account, you already had like 30K followers. So
Yes,
that's not impressive. I think I checked earlier, you already just reached 35,000, right?
yes, correct.
So I'm curious, is TikTok really the platform that you have the most followers and engagement in? Or like if you compare it like to your Instagram or things like that, like is TikTok the one for you?
Yeah, actually, it's my main social media platform, and I agree, it is where I have the most followers and engagement. And I think it's because I started my TikTok account during the start of the pandemic. So there was a little joke going on that TikTok was being used by people who were bored during this time and stuck in quarantine. And I actually realized that ever since I started my TikTok page, the sales I got since then definitely increased by a multitude.
Right. Yeah. I think, yeah, I agree with you on that, that TikTok just really grew during the pandemic, that people were just looking to it or, using the platform. I remember I spoke to a TikTok content creator. She said that TikTok is just a fun platform and that's what people are looking for. That's what people wanted to do. And I think that's why it grew. And it has, I think, helped a lot of small businesses, including yours, right?
Yes, definitely.
So, if you compare it to like let's say Instagram or even Facebook or other social media platforms, how engaged are followers on TikTok if you compare it to the others?
Personally, my followers on TikTok are very, very vocal and engaged with the content that I post. For example, they would love to comment by sharing how much they love the video, or by even suggesting different slime ideas or video ideas that they would want me to do. Mainly, they would always request for me to pack their slime videos on TikTok. So I really make sure to do that for them and to post it on my TikTok.
Oh yeah, that's true. I think I've noticed that trend also where, pack an order with me basically. I've seen several shops do that I think customers are really asking for that video. I think not just in the
Yeah.
Philippines. I think it's an international like thing or trend now on TikTok that you don't really see it on platforms like Instagram, right?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So, what was it like? I think you joined TikTok also the same time. So, around last year, right? May 2020. So, what was your journey like in growing your business through TikTok? What was that like?
Well, it definitely was not easy at first. I think it was because I didn't really know what type of content to post regarding slime. I was a bit lost during that time. But my first ever viral TikTok slime video was about me packing a huge slime order. It made me realize how much my followers were interested in the process of packing and shipping orders, especially for a slime shop since it was a new concept. And the hashtag small business was also trending in TikTok at that time, so it helped to make the video viral. I believe during that time I was so surprised by how much people were not yet aware of the existence of slime and a slime shop. So it was my goal to make slime known to them, and that was through TikTok.
Ah, yeah, that's interesting. I like how, we're talking about the trend of packing an order. I'm starting to, while you were talking, I was thinking about, yeah, why is that trend so popular? And I think it's because in a way it's like an unboxing video, but the
Mhm.
opposite of it. So it's like unboxing videos became popular because people want to see what they get. People want to see, like, especially if it's, let's say, a PR package, they want to see what the other people are getting so that they're inspired to get it. So I think that packing and order trend now is becoming a thing. Like, I think it's really a thing now. Like, it's really a trend that I don't see going away anytime soon. So I think the reason why that's also popular, it's because it's like an unboxing, but the opposite of it,
Yeah, and
right?
it really helps people get excited of receiving their package and to know what to expect when they open it.
Right, diba? And it's not just, of course you're also in Shopee, right? And I also do have a Shopee store. And the
Yes.
thing with when you're ordering in Shopee, right? Some people, sometimes you need to share a photo or a video of you
Yeah, yeah.
right before you ship it out, just to make sure that the customers are, what they're expecting is what they get. So I think also that video now on TikTok, now that it's become a thing, it's become more of like a, more aesthetically pleasing, I suppose. Because even with TikTok, but it's not just you filming it. You have to have also the cute background sounds or something like that, right?
Yes.
So would you say that's also like the most popular kind of videos that you have? Like you get more engagement with the packing orders, or because I saw you also have like, make an order, like make slime with me and something like that. Would you say that the packing ones are the more engaging ones?
Yes, the packing orders content that I have on my TikTok are the ones with the most engagement. But recently, I've been seeing that my Make a Slime video with me was actually also increasing in terms of engagement as well, because I think they really love the process of seeing how I create the actual slime products.
Right, yeah, that's true. So, I'm curious, like I remember you saying that you went viral because of that one video. Like, what was the growth like ever since you went viral? Was it like instantaneous, or is it like a slow growing process?
Honestly, it was instantaneous because I remember the next day I woke up to a sold out shop on my Shopee and I was like, whoa,
Wow.
this is crazy.
Wow, that's impressive. I can't imagine. That must have been really wild.
Yeah, it was. I was so shocked. That was amazing.
Yeah, and of course, since you mentioned that you and your sister, like you do the fulfillment as well, so I must imagine the stress with fulfillment. I mean, I know the struggle. I've worked in the industry for so long, and even with big
Yeah.
brands, fulfillment is such a, you know,
Stressful process.
Exactly, and it's complicated. I'm curious also to know one more thing, because of course with social media and even TikTok, there's strategy into it. Like, do you think, like, because I asked the content creator and she said there's not really much strategy yet on TikTok. But what do you think? Like, do you think, like, sometimes kasi 'di ba for Instagram or Facebook, the time of posting matters, or hashtags or things like that. Like, would you say those basic or common strategies are also relevant to TikTok?
Honestly, now with how long I've been on TikTok, there is definitely an existing strategy, which is almost the same as the one you mentioned in Instagram, which is the time of posting. And I think the difference with the strategy on TikTok and Instagram would be the music that you actually use in your content on TikTok actually affects how much it's going to reach other people.
Mm,
Yeah, like if the sound is viral, then your video is
yeah.
going to be on many more FYPs.
I like that you mentioned that because, I think really the algorithm for these platforms work differently, and even YouTube. But, I found it really interesting, even as I'm using TikTok, as how things end up in your FYP, diba? And I'm surprised, but I also had a feeling like that sound matters because, sound is basically what's currently trending on TikTok, right? And if you don't use
Yes.
it, you're not jumping on the trend. Um, but I have a question for you that I also asked the TikTok content creator that I spoke with. Like, how fast do trends come and go on TikTok? Like, what do you think about that?
Trends on TikTok for me are really fast in terms of becoming trendy and also not becoming trendy anymore. I think the shortest trend I've hopped on only lasted for at least like 2 or 3 days. Then the next time I
Wow.
used the sound, the views went down. And I was like, "Oh, this is so fast."
Oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting that you said that because I'm surprised. Like, 2 to 3 days. That's really really short. And not to mention, like, the sound you said when you don't use it anymore, the engagement is different. So that's really an interesting thing because I haven't seen that on any other platforms. Like, I don't think that's a
Mm-hmm.
thing that other platforms have, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think also, like, now that we've spoken about this, and really what I've observed with other small businesses is really TikTok can be such a big contributor to businesses now, and small businesses especially. I think TikTok can do so much more than what Instagram can do, right? I mean, I've seen, like, I also went through your pages, and like ang laki ng difference. Like, there's a huge
Mm-hmm.
difference between your TikTok and Instagram. And I also attended some events by TikTok on how, they have these talks on how you can grow your businesses with them. And they were just really presenting how they're not actually claiming that they're a social media platform.
Mm-hmm.
They'd rather call themselves like a short video platform. And it's interesting that they said that, really, because that's what it is, and I've seen what it can do for, content creators and businesses alike. And even I like how, 'di ba, when we talk about TikTok, it's less curated than Instagram, and it's
Yes.
really making video editing more accessible to everyone.
Yeah, it's really easy to make a video on TikTok. Most of the time, I'm able to just shoot a video directly on TikTok and I don't need to edit it sometimes, which is really convenient for me as a business owner.
Right, 'di ba? I mean, that's also, at first when I didn't jump on the trend of TikTok immediately because I felt like it was just another Vine or
Yeah.
Musically that would just come and go. But, now that I'm on the platform, now that I'm observing it, it really is it is the current big thing. And even Instagram, I'm not sure if you're familiar that Instagram is updating the platform and it's planning to focus on video. And basically they really recognize that TikTok is a competitor and they want to compete with in that space. So
Yes.
that's what I think also is the appeal of TikTok for even small business owners like you and content creators is that it's easier to make content, there's lower barrier of entry, and the TikTok content creator that I spoke with even said that it's easy to go viral, or it's easy to, like, if you want to get quote unquote clout, it's easier to get it on TikTok.
Yes, I agree. It definitely reaches a lot more people compared to on Instagram.
I'm curious though, kasi I know that TikTok has ads now. Do you do ads on TikTok, or it's really mostly organic content?
Mostly organic content for me because ads on TikTok I realize are a bit more expensive compared to the one on Instagram.
Actually, yes, that's true. That's
Mm-hmm.
true. And even Shopee ads are, I also think, a little bit um not as engaging, I think, if you compare it to social media.
Yes.
So now let's talk about, like, how you've run really your small business. So what has business been like for you so far? Like, you mentioned that you're more of the creator of the products, and your sister's more of the, like, fulfillment things. Like, you know, has it been really challenging, or were you able to, like, adapt and things like that?
Yes, so growing up, I honestly loved anything to do with business or anything business related. So being able to run my own business has definitely become a dream come true for me. And I'm really passionate when thinking about how I can improve my business, such as thinking about the creation of a product, the packaging and shipping, and how the entire experience should be for my clients. And it also has been super rewarding, especially when I see the reactions and feedbacks of my clients and they post it on their TikTok or Instagram pages. And you can see how happy they are to receive their package or how they would express how good the slime smells like. Of course, at times it has been stressful due to the amount of products I have to create every week, but in the end, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, so would you say that, of course, those are your good experience, like you get to interact with your clients and they enjoy the products, and that you're also hands on with really creating the products, right?
Yeah.
So is there anything that you've also learned so far when it comes to running a small business?
One of the things I definitely learned and taken to heart was constructive criticisms from feedbacks on TikTok and on Shopee, since they're really open and vocal about their criticisms about a certain product. So that's something I really give importance to. And it's also an advantage if you think about it, because it helps you to improve. It helped me to improve to be able to give a better experience to them.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And I like that you at least take into account those, feedback, because that really helps. And that's really the way that you grow, of course.
Yes.
What have been, of course, you're balancing your business while you're studying. So has there been any challenge with you on that, or like any downsides in running your business so far?
Yes, definitely. I think the downside would be how I would juggle college and my own business, especially since it's continually trying to grow every day. I used to think that I'd be able to do everything myself, but now, especially with the volume of orders I get per day and mentally having to prepare to create products, content, and even having to talk to my different clients, so I definitely decided that I need a helping hand, which is why my twin sister decided to officially join me in my slime business. Sometimes my brother and my parents would also help me with packages. And honestly, taking a break is also really hard because I love running my slime business. But sometimes I decide, oh, I really need a break. So I would take a 3 hour break. And then next I would think, oh, I really want to check how the packaging is going. And then I eventually get back to work again. So I really enjoy it, but sometimes the mental stress does get tiring.
Right, yeah, that's true. And actually, I looked at your Shopee just now and I realized you're a preferred seller. So, with preferred sellers, 'di ba, you have certain criteria or your certain metrics that you have to maintain
Yeah.
so that you're a preferred seller. And even with Shopee fulfillment, of course, you have to ship it out within the certain time frame, and especially when there are big campaigns like, 7788,
Mm-hmm.
extra stressful as well. So, I feel you. I can imagine the struggle that you're going through because yeah, I know what it's like. I've worked in like with big brands when it comes to running e-commerce, and I've also run my own show. So with my small business, so I understand the struggle. It's like beyond your TikTok videos. Like, of course, when you
Yeah.
see TikTok, oh, it's cute, she's making the slime. Oh, it's cute, she's packing the order really nicely. But there's also a lot of stress that really goes into that.
Yes, exactly.
Diba? And yeah, congratulations on making preferred seller because
Thank you.
how long have you been a preferred seller?
I've been a preferred seller for 2 years now.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Tagal na pala. So, 'di ba,
Yes.
it's and I understand also that it's also a struggle. Not really a struggle, but you have to maintain it kasi. I mean,
Yes, they're
otherwise you
very
lose your
strict.
status. Yeah, 'di ba? So, so now we've talked about all of those things, what it's been like running your business. So, now I want to ask you like what's next for your business? What's next for the brand?
Hopefully, in the future, it would be amazing to be able to move into my very own slime space or slime warehouse where I can be able to make more slime products and for people to actually be able to buy slimes in person as well.
Oh nga, that's fun. That would be fun, especially, after the pandemic, if you get to see the products. Wait, question pala, you're on Shopee lang or are you also selling in Lazada or like your own website or is it mostly Shopee?
I'm mostly on Shopee. I've been planning to expand to Lazada, but honestly, I don't think I would handle it right now. So
Yeah.
I am just staying in Shopee right now, but it would be a dream for me to be able to expand to Lazada as well.
Yeah, because I mean, I think you're doing well in Shopee. So, not every seller can say that. So, yeah, I think hopefully for you get to expand eventually.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what's your advice naman for anyone who wants to grow on TikTok?
Some advice I would want to give would be to create content that you really love and believe in, and to always keep an open mind. And lastly, to never take the mean comments to heart because there will always be more supporters than the haters.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's just the reality. Yeah. So, ano naman, what is your advice naman for anyone who wants to start a small business, be it slime or be it anything else?
I think it would be to just go for it. Take time in learning how you want to run your business, especially in e commerce, and to always aim for growth.
Yeah, that's true. I like that you said that. Short but sweet. Because even for e-commerce, it's continuously growing. It's a constantly growing, industry. And that's why I am working in it. Because, originally when I started working, I was working for this fashion brand as a marketing assistant. And I remember being exposed to e-commerce then. That was 2016. So 5 years ago, diba? And
Yeah.
during that time, e-commerce was not as big as it is now. But I saw the potential early on. And, once I started like in working in an e-commerce agency, like until now, that's where I work. It's really a continuously growing platform, growing industry. And I agree with you that you have to be open for growth, open for criticism and all of those things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so before we wrap up, are there any other thoughts you want to leave our listeners with that we haven't mentioned earlier?
I think that's all.
Yeah, okay, great. So why don't you take this opportunity to invite our listeners to check out your shop?
Great. So you can visit Everything Kawaii PH on Shopee, or you can also visit our website, www.everythingkawaiiph.com. And for more content, you can also follow us on TikTok and Instagram with the same username.
Right. Yeah. Thank you again, Anika, for your time. So don't forget to check out, their everything Kawaii's TikTok and Shopee. Like, trust me, if you like cute things, like you'll really enjoy it. So if you enjoyed this discussion, so make sure to follow our podcast to get notified on the latest uploads. So if you want to share your thoughts, suggest topics, or collaborate, visit our socials at the Gen Z Marketer Podcast on Facebook, at Gen Z MKT on Instagram, and at www.genzmkt.com.